Welcome to GG Rated Podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Gray.
And this is your co-host, Gino. Today, we have another special guest. We have Baxter here. He is one of my old fraternity brothers. I don't mean to mention old Baxter. Sorry about that. But either way, he is an avid gamer just like me and Gray. And I'm glad to have you on the show, man. Hopefully, give us a few tips about and a few things about Sea of Stars.
Yeah, hey, it's a pleasure to be here. A lot of fun playing that one recently. Happy to talk about
Awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait to dig into this. It is really, really good, and it gets better as you keep playing it, man. And I'm really starting to get the Chrono Trigger feels. I love Chrono Trigger, so I can't wait for us to talk about this some more.
Well, that's the biggest thing. It's like, once we started playing it and Baxter kind of told me about it a little bit and kind of got me hooked on it. I got you hooked on it. So he's actually, I think I've talked to him. He's actually beat the game. So I'm really interested and can't wait to see how this kind of turns out and see his thoughts on this. So I'm pretty excited about it. So,
yeah.
But
for real.
With that being said, with the introductions out of the way, Baxter, again, we appreciate you coming on the show. We're going to start with the gaming moment. Gray?
The gaming moment, he said as he tried to stall as he found his soundboard. Favorite gaming moment of the week, man. So I'd say my favorite gaming moment of the week was watching my son play Punch Out for the Wii. I have the Wii emulation on my Steam Deck and have Punch Out on there. And watching my son play this game, he's just like slamming on all the triggers and stuff, going back and forth. Pow, pow, pow. And he's fighting the first guy, which is like Glass Joe. And listen, like, I don't think a lot of people played this game on Wii, but it is excellent. It's really good.
See, I didn't really even know they had a Punch Out on Wii.
Oh, dude, you need to download that. It's really good.
my brother had it on the original Nintendo, so we played it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I remember that.
I used to play it on the OG too.
And so when I saw it on the Switch, I said, "Oh my God!" So I spent some time doing it. Great, great port over. Lot of fun.
Yeah.
And the old
sure.
and the old codes to skip around to the next bosses and boxing.
Yes.
It still exists. So
I didn't even know that was a thing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So did y'all beat the game? How did your boy do, Gray?
We just like hop in and out every now and then. Like we will play against each other. And the cool thing is like they've adapted it so you don't have to use the like Wii sticks. You don't have to actually like move around and everything. You just it's mainly using the triggers on the controller. And it's cool because you can build up like this Hulk mode where you turn into a big monster and you just start slamming each other. So, if you played the game, then you know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, then I sound like a crazy person. But
hey,
yeah,
and I don't know if y'all hear any background music right now, but my 11-year-old daughter decides, I think, to play some Barbie or something in the background. So I apologize about that.
I'm a Barbie girl.
I know.
Is it that one?
We're just getting some background music here. That's all we're doing,
Yes.
But I'll tell you, I guess about my gaming moment, I have to say is it's kind of in reference to the Sea of Stars. Is I've been seeing a little bit about these achievements on the Sea of Stars. I love getting these achievements, right? I'm not like a hunter, but I love it. I love when it pops up that sound. And I was just playing, and he had this Moonring skill with Valir.
Oh
yeah. When we start throwing, and you hit 25 times. Like you get an achievement if you can do it 25 times, and it's like intense too. Like when you go and it's like back to back to back to back to back. It's intense, but I mean, it was a pretty cool little moment that I had playing it on the Steam Deck. Gray, you'd be proud of me. But yeah, that was the best moment. That was one of my best moments for the week playing Sea of Stars and actually getting that achievement. So
yeah, because there's an achievement. I got it too. Because what's cool about that Moonstrike or whatever it's called, or it's the Moonerang.
Yeah, Moonerang. That's it.
If there's like a bunch of enemies on the field, it'll go and bounce over all of them. And if you do it right, then you can take out a lot of enemies at once, and it is
Yeah.
so satisfying. Like, it's really
It
fun.
is really sad. So it's the best so far, the best. But I don't know. There might be something better that Baxter can kind of hit on a little bit later.
Yeah,
But
I'm sure Baxter knows.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, my kid started crying.
oh, I got you. So I got the kid with the
Life, man.
background noise. You got the kids cry. Hey, we're in this together. We're in this together. Um.
Yep.
So did you have a gaming moment this week or no?
Yeah, well, I struggle here, but picking up in I play a lot of Rocket League, and I thought I was going to go to Texas Massacre, but I was sitting there switching out the tires on one of my Rocket League cars, and my kid walks up. My daughter says, "Put the purple ones on," and it just kind of made it fun for me.
That's awesome. That's
Not
awesome.
my usual style, but it just kind of was like, okay, that's cool. I'll do it for you, kid.
Now you have to
That's
win when
sweet.
you have those wheels on there. It's just something in you. You're like, oh, I got to win this now. You know.
I'm
Yeah,
doing this for my kid.
the purple wheels don't work well on the vintage Charger. Just not the look I was going for.
That's funny.
No, it's perfect, man. That's perfect, man. That's pretty good. Well, what do you say we get into the next one, Gray? The next section, you think?
What is the next one, bro? I don't even know what's going on
Let's
right
go
now.
into the gaming news, bro. The gaming.
news.
You had the state of play. You had the Nintendo Direct, right? They both was done this September. They had a lot of huge announcements and everything. So I'm just going to go over real quick, kind of fast, in reference to what was announced, just to kind of put it out there for everybody of these new games that PlayStation, Nintendo, and they actually had it on the same day, dude. Can you believe that? The same day. So it was a pretty packed day on it. But the huge headline for the state of play was, and I am super stoked about this game. Okay, I spent over $100 on a bundle on the first one, Final Fantasy VII remake.
Oh man.
So I'm super stoked about this. They did a trailer on this as well. Some gameplay of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's coming out February 29th, 2024. Has some huge stuff there. It's going to be exclusive on PS5. So it looks like I'm finally going to have to bite the bullet and try to get one of those. Or just have to wait for PC. The second thing, also, they did some Spider-Man 2 new gameplay trailer. The reaction so far on Twitter, I guess X as you can call it, has been very positive on the gameplay. If you want to look forward to some more things coming out, you can always follow us on X as well at GGrated channel. Next thing that they showed was Resident Evil 4 DLC, which is going to be out next week. You got Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora. Also, they had a new story trailer that was released. That is due out in December 7th. They also announced 3 new editions of PS5 faceplates. You got the red, the blue, as well, and a white. A volcanic red and a cobalt blue and a, not white, I'm sorry, and a sterling silver is the new colors. All right. They will be available January 26, 2024. Bennett Fonny's next game, Baby Steps, is out next summer. Roblox, believe it or not, it's been out a while. It's a very popular game. My daughter, being 12 years old, plays it very much, a lot. It has not ever been released on PlayStation. It's been on every other platform. No, it's never been released on PlayStation.
I got a quick story about Roblox, man. I remember when we were having our first kid, I didn't have any kind of like handheld system that I brought with me. So I had my phone and I was like, what can I play? I want to play something online while I'm trying to wait for this baby to come out. And I downloaded Roblox on the phone, like mobile. And I remember playing like on a planet in space or something that somebody had made. Like folks make all kind of crazy things on there. And I got to say, I did have a little bit of fun when that was my only real option.
There's a lot to do. There's a lot to do on
Oh
Roblox.
yeah, folks make crazy things there. You can just go in these different worlds and stuff and just explore what folks have made. So
well, Baxter, I know you got a daughter as well, so I'm just giving you a heads up on it. Roblox, if it's still around, it's going to be something you're going to have to deal with. So get ready for it.
Nah, man, she's all about the Paw Patrol kart game on Xbox. right now.
Let's go. Paw
Okay.
Patrol. I love Paw Patrol, bro.
And don't get the theme. Let's
Where
get
it's
that
at.
theme music going. Let's get it going. You know.
Paw Patrol.
My son Shep, he's young, he's 4, and he's all about that Paw Patrol. There's actually a movie. Just a little heads up. September 29th.
Another one coming out.
Paw Patrol movie, September 29th,
Yep.
is going to be released in movie theater. So I see y'all there. Okay, I expect everyone of y'all
Bro,
there.
I went to the movie theaters to watch the first one, and I gotta say, I had a good time. It was fun. I was there by myself.
Nice.
Just kidding. I was with my son. I was with my son. We had a great time.
See what you did there. He was trying to get me to get a response out of that, huh?
Yeah, I was like,
Well, guys, look, Roblox, PS4, October 10th. If you're looking forward to it, if you have a PlayStation 4, there you go. We also have Ghostbusters. Rise of the Ghost Lord is out next month for the PlayStation VR 2. Yes.
What?
Yes. Helldivers 2.
Is it going to be out on Steam or anything?
They did not say. You know how PlayStation is. It's PlayStation
I got
VR 2.
I would love to play that VR game.
The Ghostbusters game for VR is going to be October 26th, just in time for Halloween. Helldivers 2 new trailer gave us another look at gameplay, plus a release date. It's going to be PS5 and PC on February 8, 2024. You got Foam Stars. It's kind of like a Splatoon kind of game that I think PlayStation's kind of copying. They get an open beta. It will be available on PS5. It'll commence on September 29th and then conclude on October 1st. Okay. Then you got Tales of Arise is getting an expansion in November, 2 years after the release. The expansion arrives on November 9th. And that is all that's been. So the big headline on this one was pretty much Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Going over to Nintendo Direct. So the biggest thing they announced, I'm trying to go quick here, is Paper Mario. The old Paper Mario is getting a remake. So Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door HD has been announced. That was the biggest announcement for the day. Mario and Donkey Kong Remake is coming to Nintendo Switch on February 16th, 2024. This is the one I'm more excited about because me and my brother would play this on Super Nintendo all the time. Is F-Zero 99 has been announced. It's already available. It's exclusively on Nintendo Switch Online members for them, but it's like a whole revamped same graphics and everything, same courses as Super Nintendo, but like online capabilities and new adjustments to the ships and the riders and all that kind of stuff. You can change out paint colors and everything else. So I'm definitely going to try that out on my Switch, and I have to I'm going to have to do a little something on that. Princess Peach Showtime actually gets a name. The Princess Peach game that everybody knew was coming out for Nintendo, it now has a name, Princess Peach Showtime. It gets a March release date, March 22nd. Tomb Raider, you'll like this, Gray. Baxter, I don't know if you was a big Tomb Raider fan, but Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 have all been announced as remasters. Coming February 14th, 2024. They also gave out details that you can toggle, like on the Master Chief collection, you can actually toggle the graphics from the old style, the polygon style, to the new style. So I love when games do that. So
man, they know how to take my money, don't they?
They do.
Sounds a lot like Diablo 2 Resurrected, being able to flip between the two.
Oh yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
So I got an interesting side note about Tomb Raider. I'm just wondering if any other guys out there can relate to this. You know, back when that game came out, we were young lads. You know, just transitioning and developing.
You want to know if the old style is going to keep that? I already know what you're saying here.
No,
right?
I'm just saying. Did anybody else like move around the camera and stuff so that you could try to see your booty better, or like? I know. Yeah,
because how old were we?
Kids. Yeah, we were just kids. Like, oh my gosh, we get to play a girl. Oh my god.
What we should do is just sit there in silence and just let you just be awkwardly silent in it.
Bask in the awkwardness. I know I was not the only one that did that.
No.
There's pretty sure there's a meme with that exact still image out there from one of the original Tomb Raiders.
There's your
That's funny.
reinsurance right there. It's not just you. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, boys doing
So
boy things.
moving on, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD has been announced. It's going to be out next summer. Splatoon 3 Side Order gets new gameplay trailer and a spring 2024 release window. It'll be available next spring. Another look at the Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. I'm not really, I just don't like the art style that they're going with there too much, but it's set to be released on January 18th. Super Mario RPG, I really like that game. The remake gets a new trailer. I'm super excited about that game. I've played that on my Analog Pocket. I don't know if y'all know too much about it, but I played that game a lot on my Analog Pocket, and I absolutely love that game. It's coming out November 17th this year, 2023. Trombone Champ is coming to Nintendo Switch. Dave the Diver arrives on Nintendo Switch next month. First look at the Wave 6 of Mario Kart 8. That game just completely keeps dominating in the charts as well, keeps selling. They'll never make a Mario Kart 9. You got Detective Pikachu returns, gets new cinematic trailer. Some amiibo updates for Tears of the Kingdom, Smash Ultimate, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So they announced some new amiibos. Horizon Chase 2, which is a racing game, originally released a little over a year ago on PlayStation, PC, and Xbox and mobile devices. Horizon Chase 2 is finally out on the Nintendo Switch. It's already been released. Another code Recollection announced for January 19th, 2024. Then you got Saga Emerald Beyond arrives next year. So Nintendo's making a lot of announcements here, but I feel like they're kind of covering bases on their switch to Nintendo Switch 2. But we'll get to that in a moment. Unicorn Overlord is a new tactics RPG from the developer behind 13 Sentinels. That's going to be coming out March 8th. Eoden Chronicles, I guess that's how you would say it. 100 Heroes targets an April 2024 release date, April 23rd. WarioWare Move It gets a new trailer. It gets released in November. And they gave more information about their new Nintendo Gallery Museum set to open up in March of 2024 that would show and commemorate all their history behind Nintendo. So with that being said, that is everything that's been announced with Nintendo and Sony State of Play. What's y'all most anticipated title in all those games, per se?
I'd say it's going to be kind of fun to revisit some of those older IPs that you mentioned, Tomb Raider. I'm also a big Prince of Persia fan. I really enjoyed them when I was younger, and I've actually went back and downloaded one. I think it was on PlayStation 2 on my Steam Deck, and have been playing it some. Like it's a bit dated, but still fun. I enjoy that style of game, more linear. You actually have levels to get through, because these days, like, everything is open world, and I really like that play style back then. It's kind of a hack and slash, but also a puzzle game too. And so is this a reimagining of that IP, or is it a brand new game, or
It's
what?
a brand new game, I believe.
Okay.
It's just different art style, I think. Don't hold me to that. But so far they've had negative commentary on it, I would say. But I mean, you can't really know until it comes out. So we'll see. It's being made by,
true.
I believe, Ubisoft. And they usually do an okay job. So
Yeah.
it's not going to be terrible or anything. Baxter, do you have any?
No, I was just gonna say Prince of Persia looks like it's a side-scrolling game. So
2D. That's right. That's right. They changed that. It was going to be 3, I think. And they changed it to 2.
Okay.
So I kind of like the 2D style. That's just me though. But
yeah.
What do you think, Baxter? You got any games that kind of stood out? Are you a PlayStation? Let me throw out here first. I just need to know. Are you more PlayStation, Nintendo, PC? I mean, what's your platform that you usually play on?
Microsoft Xbox.
Okay, Xbox. So you still hanging with old Microsoft? What is some? I know we had PlayStation, Nintendo kind of being announced, but out of those announcements, what do you think is going to be the one title that kind of stands out the most?
The one that I am the most excited for is going to be Payday 3. I don't know if you are familiar with the series, but as a individual in law enforcement, and then what you do is you plan bank heists. And there's four people to a party. You can multiplayer it with your buddies. You go in and you essentially map out, plan, and deal whatever the bounty is for the mission. And I played a lot of Payday 2. Really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to this one.
So Payday 3, do you know anything what they're expanding on from Payday 2? Um, Anything like in certain, like, say anything better, or is it just more graphics wise on that game?
I'm going to presume it's still fairly not as much information out there, but I'm going to presume that the graphics are going to be a little bit better than the second one for sure. I'm hoping the clunky details from Payday 2 are kind of polished up, but if you're a fan of those kind of games, I think it'll fancy fancy a lot of players' appetite for that.
Well, I like the bank heist thing on GTA 5 a lot. I did that, so I've always wanted to try Payday 2 and give that a try. And I guess with Payday 3 coming out, I guess I'm gonna have to give that a try. Maybe you can work me through the ropes on that, Baxter, and we can try that out. Maybe it'll be on Game
Well,
Pass. You know.
well, and I don't think it's specifically Xbox exclusive here, but uh, I think the best way to do it, Gino, is to just like everybody else, do some initial smash and grabs, and then mastermind your way up.
Mhm.
Hey, I like that. I like that that motto. So we might have to do that. Just have a little fun with it. So
I believe there's also a VR mode for Payday 2. I would really like to try that.
yeah, because what you have
I think that would be
a
fun.
Meta Quest, don't you? Gray?
Yep, I have the Meta Quest, formerly the Oculus Quest 2, and, it's a great system for a very affordable price. You can play it with your PC or you can play it standalone with games that are on there. It's great, man.
I'm just gonna need one of y'all to buy that Apple Vision Pro so we can try that if you don't mind. I appreciate that. So
Yeah,
it's only thirty five
no
hundred
problem.
dollars. That's it.
We got to start
Oh
planning some bank heists, Gino, to afford that kind of thing.
exactly.
Hey, we can't throw that out there right now, okay? Right? We gotta end this thing
Oh,
first. But man, with that being said, with that would be it for the gaming news. If you got any games that was not on the Nintendo Direct or the State of Play, make sure y'all leave a comment down below, or where can they email us at, Gray?
You can email us at ggratedchannel@gmail.com.
There you go. There you go. So make sure y'all do that, and we'll read everyone, and we'll also choose if we get a couple of them. We'll choose and put it on the show, and see if anybody else thinks the same thing about what game should be announced. With that being said,
Right.
Gray, bring it on in with that GG rating section.
Bump, 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 bump. Let's go. All right, so I'm going to break down what our GG rating is right now. What is our GG rating, and how are we going to do it? For Sea of Stars. Our GG rating is our industry standard for video game rating systems. We go over graphics, music, story, gameplay, multiplayer, fun factor. We average up these to give you our GG rating to let you know if this game is a good game and if it's worth playing. Will Sea of Stars hold up to the test? Let's get into it. So, do you want to break down the synopsis and
Yeah, let me
everything,
go over it
or
real quick and kind of break it down before we get Baxter going into it a little bit, and I kind of give them open
okay?
reins to kind of talk to everybody about it. But so what I do know is developer Sabotage Studio is the one that developed the game. It was expired. I know y'all mentioned this before. Chrono Trigger, Illusion of Gaia, and Breath of Fire was the expired games. It's also something that I found very interesting looking into this game. It's in the same universe of the Messenger game that was released in 2018 by Sabotage Studio. And that was published by Devolver Digital. So, a quick synopsis on Sea of Stars. It's a retro-styled role-playing video game centered around two heroes named Valir and Zale, who use the power of the moon and the sun, respectively, to fight against the creation of an evil alchemist. Gameplay includes elements of puzzle solving and turn based combat, with players able to control up to 6 player characters. The game is inspired by role playing games such as what I've stated before, like Chrono Trigger. Sea of Stars is located, like I said, in the Messenger universe. Um, Valir and Zale are solstice warriors, adventurers who have control over eclipse magic. Their power is the only magic able to harm the dwellers, otherworldly monsters created by a godlike alchemist called the Fleshmancer. So that's a brief synopsis. Does not even go close to going over it, I'm sure. But Baxter, the first question I have for you with this is right off the dot. Are you enjoying Sea of Stars, and can you just tell us what you like about the game?
Absolutely. I have beaten the game, and fair warning to all of your listeners, I will do my best to avoid any spoilers. The game's maybe been out 2 or 3 weeks, so some people haven't put all the time in it to get where I'm at, and that's fine. But absolute love letter to the RPGs and or JRPGs that I grew up as a young child playing. Um, Wonderfully executed. If you enjoy those type games or remember them, you need to play this game.
Okay. So can you tell us about the inspiration behind Sea of Stars and what sets it apart from like other RPG games?
So as I said a moment ago with the love letter comment, if you recall Chrono Trigger, or the game that I think it's a lot similar to is Legend of Mana.
Oh yeah.
Um, so if you can recall those games, they're essentially turn-based style with a few twists, the Stars twists that are. Uh, so that's what I think it's
Okay.
the inspiration comes from. But what sets it apart, the artwork, the the music, all of the things we'll get to shortly, the color patterns and the way you travel and the island to island and things like that as you journey on this adventure really come together for a great cohesive adventure. You really feel from time to time what you are doing is having an impact in this story.
I absolutely, and I'm just at the beginning of the game, and I feel that
Mhm.
way. So that what you saying is that's hitting it on the head on the nail. So on making everything you do feels like it is making an impact. I definitely have to agree with that. Gray, do you have a question for him?
No, man, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'll go with the next one I want to ask is how does the game's art style I know you kind of mentioned it a little bit, but how does it actually contribute to the overall immersive experience to the game, the art style?
Again, modern gaming is all about the best graphics, the most immersive experience you can imagine. I I think it's good to take a step away from that sometimes and kind of look back at gaming history. Um, what I think is best described is what this, and I'm no expert in the industry, but you know, it's going to be a really, really great retro inspired pixel art, but it doesn't look like Super Mario from the Nintendo. It's
Mhm.
not that bad, or I
Yeah.
won't say bad, but it's not that
That
the
age, that
technology
generation.
the technology wasn't there when the Nintendo existed to have really polished graphics. And I'm sure there's some 3D elements and modernization there, but it's inspired by those older games that were limited to technology at the time. And to me, it's the greatest of all time right now. There hasn't been another one in my memory I've played that is as beautiful, as well colored, depending on where you're at,
Mm.
what island, the
Hmm.
missions you're doing. everything is really thought out, and I'm gonna keep hitting on this is a love letter to that genre and era of gaming, and it's really perfection in my book.
I,
I totally agree. I totally agree because sometimes as I go to these new areas, I can just like sit there in awe at how much of the environment is like moving around, but also still has that old style to where they have like hit it with the best of both worlds, man. Like vibrant, you can see kind of environmental things going on, but also just how the maps are built where you go like in and out and there's some exploration there. Um, it's really well done as far as like level design and all that. They have thought out everything, and I'm not even that far in, so I can't wait to see what's next.
yeah, and like what you were saying with the graphics, it's like back in the generation, they was limited by the hardware, right? But just the thing that kind of captures me all the time is there's like a glow to each of your characters, Valir and Zale. There's like a certain like a blue and a red, like it's like a HDR kind of like the light is just shining off of them. And I know Gray told me the other day, kind of like at one part, it makes it kind of seem like they're a Super Saiyan on Dragon Ball Z at one point. So that's really it. Something like that, small stuff like that, kind of captures to what I really like about the game. So what gameplay, Baxter? What gameplay mechanics can players expect in Sea of Stars, and how do they enhance the storytelling on this game?
So, not giving away spoilers for the first many hours. The the game is fairly linear and go here, do these things, and you're kind of on that path. Uh, you have some freedoms. You can go. One of the things I love, right? One of the things I love about this is in some of these older games is you could have a fishing spot. In this game, on all the islands I've been to, or the big ones, have a fishing spot, and it was in the older games of years gone by, it was a way to build in some time to play and to experience something away from the game, but that's still the game and that was still fun. Um, and there's another component. If for those that have made it, I think most folks have made it probably to the first town, Brisk.
Yes.
You get to a point in there, and then you go to the end, the ship, and in the corner there's the wheels table, and that's a
Love
mini
that game.
game.
Yeah.
It's a mini game inside the game. And at first, it can be challenging. You're sitting there like, "What do I do?" And it's pretty easy to get to understand it, but that's critical to play that for the end game. And I'm not gonna tell you
Ah,
more than that, so you're
ah.
gonna have to come back to wheels
What?
and
Can I just
I
say?
don't know about wheels.
Oh, you're
Where is
gonna
this
get
at?
there, and let me tell you.
Okay, so I'm not there yet. Like I just made it to the mines where I got
No,
to go down in the mines.
okay. So, yeah, once you get past the, what is that? What's that? That's,
it's when you meet the
oh,
pirates, right?
Stonemason's outpost. You're in Stonemason's outpost at the mines, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So once you
Because
finish in
they
that
have to keep
zone,
the mines clear so that the dragon doesn't wake up.
Yep.
right, right. So once you get past there, the next place you're gonna go is the first big town, Brisk. That's not really
Okay,
a spoiler, it's just kind of the trajectory
right.
you're heading. And when you get into there, you can run around and do whatever its missions. But, wheels, it's a really fun mini game.
It's fun. It's really fun,
Yeah,
man. I spent
Oh,
like
I'm
an
excited.
hour playing that game. I feel like,
That's
well,
cool.
so those are some of the mechanics, but if I can kinda turn towards the moments of battle, the moments where you're
okay.
exploring and you run into an enemy, um, you can expect turn base. Okay, they have locks. The enemies have locks, so there may be if you do a flash attack with Zale or a mace attack or staff attack or heavy, whatever they call it, with Belair or Garl, who is the
Hmm.
warrior cook. Uh,
Girl, go girl.
Girl.
and there'll be a number associated with that you have to check off those boxes, so to speak, before that number drops down, or that enemy can use a special power or special move or whatever you want to call it, versus just a regular attack, or that's when their turns start. Um, and I think a lot of that comes in with some old Mario RPG, Super
Yep.
Mario RPG, long time, where uh, when you do your attack, you can time it just right. You can add bonus damage, or if you time just right the defense on the enemy attacking you, you can lessen the amount of damage you take. And so you have to spend a little bit of time fighting that same enemy, figure out when at the right time is you to hit that button so you can block,
And
or
that point
when you're
right there about the exact moment and timing it up, I feel like really sends the game battle system over the top because it brings that extra element. And I have to agree, like just that, learning different timing for each enemy, like there's so many enemies. I mean, I think I think you're right. That I mean, you hit on the head. I think the timing aspect to it is really intriguing to me in this game.
Dude, it's
absolutely,
genius because you're more engaged in the battle. It feels like you're doing something a little bit extra so you can get those bonus hit points and everything. I love the battle system. I think they did a great job with it.
So
absolutely. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that little component came from Super Mario RPG.
you're right. You're
Right.
absolutely right.
Uh,
Yeah,
Absolutely right.
yeah.
and
And the
so you
combo
start
too. The combo that's in the game with
right,
Mario and Luigi and all.
so
Um,
you can start to see more the base of games that they pulled little things from. It doesn't have to be a lot from one. It's just one thing here, or it's one thing there from that game, and they all come together really, really, really well.
I agree. So you kind of went over the exploration and the combat. Well, you kind of went over the combat a little bit. Just kind of touch a little bit. How do you feel about the exploration on this game? Um, how does that work and the mechanics and all that on this game?
Well, if you're on the large map moving from island to island, you don't have to worry about encounters or anything. You can go where you want to go. If you're on an island and you're going from one zone to the next on the same island, you don't have to worry about any encounters until you actually get into that zone, which I like. I don't, I think the encounters should be in the zones. You're wasting time going from point A to B in an encounter to me, but uh, and it's not a lot of walking on the larger maps. It's pretty quick to get there. Then you spend a lot of your time in the zones themselves, which is how it should feel.
Yeah.
If that answers your question.
Kind of like Final Fantasy VII, I guess it'd be a comparison to that on the original PlayStation, not the new Final Fantasy VII remake, obviously.
Sure,
But
sure.
on the open world, you can just when you're running around trying to get to a town, you're going to encounter monsters and have battles constantly outside the system. I like the aspect of I feel like you can enjoy the story a little bit more in this game, where you can get to a town and start going through the story, and have battles in between there. But you're not spending your time outside in between just to level up, just a buffer. I feel like.
No, and to me, the game gives enough in each zone. If you follow the path, so to speak, you're going to level at the appropriate rate. You're never going to enter into a zone unless you somehow figure out how to get from one island to the next without, achieving the mission to get you off that island. You're never going to hit a zone where you can't compete against your encounters. There may be one or two that are more challenging that are going to force you to say, okay, I really need to hit this lock on this enemy so his turn is skipped. I've got one character down. I don't have any way to revive them. The so the game may force you, and it's not often, to be really selective and think about what your next move is. That's few and far between, but it does exist.
Okay. Well, I know one person. I know Gray is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Gray, but you're huge on the music aspect to these games. I am as well, but
Yes.
Gray is a big component. I've learned over the many years I've known him. in reference to the soundtracks on these games. Um, so can you shed some light on the game's soundtrack, about how it elevates the atmosphere of the game? Does
Well,
it?
I think atmosphere is the right word. In every zone that I've been in, I beat the game, uh, and there's extra after you beat the game too. Um, I think every zone has the right music. Every zone, the sounds, the music, the enemies you face, all of it really brings you in that particular point in time in the game. Whether it's Moon Cradle when you just start the game, and it's that really light, eerie type music where it's just like, okay, this is nice, a good place to be. We're starting our journey on being solstice warriors or whatever. And then you get into the game about 15 hours or so, and you're in a different island that's going to be a little bit darker. It's going to be a little bit heavier. The music changes. Uh, the atmosphere is the word. Everywhere that I've been, really, the music emphasized where you were in the game.
Okay.
And do you know like who actually did the composition?
Off the top of my head, no, I do not.
Right. So this is really cool, and I didn't know this either till the other day. Is the same guy that did Chrono Trigger composed the music for Sea of Stars?
I didn't know that. That's
Yes.
Awesome.
that is awesome.
Yasunori Mitsuda is his name, and
I told you
there's
he's
an
big on the
interesting
music.
story.
That's-
bro.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy that they got him. Like, I guess there's a whole background story of how they got him to do it. That might be something good for our listeners to dive into and see like how they got that. But yeah, really cool. And at first, when I first started the game, I was like, well, this like music is okay, because there was a lot of there was a certain like instrument that was in it that I wasn't too fond of. But then as the game progressed, it's just like they one up themselves over and over to where I'm like, holy crap, this music is an instant classic. And then when I found out that it was done by that composer, I was like, holy crap. Like this is I love this game. So
Yeah.
yeah.
the
Neat.
battle music to me is what gets it for me. Just how if you can change the music when you get into the battle from just a normal music, you just progress into the story, but it changes at the battle system and kind of hypes you up and gets you ready for battle. It's a win-win for me. If the game does that. So, and I think I enjoyed it. I'll sit there and I'm like pausing the game, dealing with the kids or something. I can hear the music playing on my Steam Deck, and I'm just sitting here listening to it. It doesn't bother me at all. I can just hear it over and over again. So I could definitely consider that a plus.
Right. And no, I was just gonna say like really quick that he wasn't the only one on it. He did only 10 tracks for the game, but basically it comes down to they just asked him and he's like, yeah, I'd love to be love to be on this. And they're like, so we got the guy. Like we literally got the guy. Like it's
Well,
just cool that it was like that he after they asked him, he looked over and was like, sure, I'll do it. Like a famous composer that did like one of the best RPG games ever was just like, sure.
yeah,
So I thought that was cool.
because Chrono Trigger is definitely on the top of the list. So to get
Oh,
the
dude,
main guy with the
it is
music,
one.
like, come on,
Yeah, it is beloved. Literally one of the OGs in gaming history.
In
So,
Legend of Mana, how Baxter mentioned earlier, a lot of people hasn't mentioned that. I absolutely love that game. I love that. That's up there as well, like right there with Chrono Trigger. So not a lot of people will mention that a lot of times. But it's a real popular game too. But you just don't hear it as much as Chrono Trigger. And I do have to give you props on that, Baxter, for bringing that title into existence again on this channel. Finally,
Yeah.
I got two more questions for you, so I won't beat you up on it. But I know you beat the game. What kind of replay value does Sea of Stars offer? And are there multiple endings or branching storylines in reference to the game?
Well, I have not started a replay yet. Uh, I guess spoiler alert, but not really a big one. Once you complete the game, uh, you have what's called, I saw on the main menu screen that pops up a New Game Plus. I haven't had time to figure out what New Game Plus is, but I will get into that when I have
Okay.
time. Uh,
So there is a new game
multi-
plus though.
Seen it with my own two eyes, Gino. It's on.
Okay.
Once I did, it's sitting right there. I haven't done it yet. But multiple endings. You don't have that level of, let's say, Mass Effect voice and impactfulness towards the end of the story. Have multiple outcomes. It's pretty linear in that path. On the goal is to defeat the Fleshmancer and the uh, uh, Dweller of Woe, or whatever it is, the World Killer. So you kind of just slowly work your way to that goal. Um, you take your time going from one place to the next, whatever. Do side missions internal to the actual game if you decided to do that, which I would say you should, because uh, once you beat the game once, uh, some of you may remember in the Moorlands zone, which is one of the very first zones, there's a what looks kind of like a Stonehenge looking area.
Hmm.
Got rock columns coming out of the ground, right? You go
Yes.
up to it and it says, "Oh, this thing hasn't been active for a very long time, and you can barely ineligible," right?
Yeah.
Well, that's important. When we talk about the side missions and some of the harder components to the game, and you don't have to do that before you beat the game. You can beat the game and then come back and do those
Ah.
other more difficult side missions to get to the quote unquote true ending.
I got you.
Uh,
So there is branching storylines, is what you're saying. So you have one main storyline, but you can add to that storyline by going different directions with it and add to it.
Certainly. So, for instance, uh, without giving anything away, of course, you think of the characters that you can have interacted with. And some of you may not have gotten to the point where you know all of them out there, but uh, most of them have a separate mission that you need to help them with. And if you do that, uh, you typically get a very good item for that particular character. And then it's part of that Moorlands zone thing I mentioned earlier. So just
Okay.
always talk to your party members. When you're setting up camp, uh,
Mm.
Teeks is, I think, the name of the historian in the game. Always talk to her. She will tell you stories. So when you add a new party member and then you set up camp in one of the zones, many of them, uh, talk to her and she'll say, "Hey, do you want to hear a story?" And then that's usually where you're going to get that information.
Okay. And does that enable side quests, or they just kind of tell you more of the story by enabling with her? Not to try to give too much away, but um, is it just more of the story, or does it enable side missions that you have to do?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily call it enable. I would say it's a trigger. I guess you could. Once you figure out what the story is about, then you go and talk to the party member, and then that kind of, hey,
Gotcha.
will you help me go blah blah blah.
Gotcha.
Then you can decide if you want to do that. You don't have to, totally optional, but I would recommend, because it
Okay.
really added depth to that character and to the game in total.
Well, I got one more question before Gray brings it home with you to go over the GG rating. Um, Finally, what system have you been playing on? See your stars, and do you know what other platforms this game is available on?
Again, I'm primarily on Xbox, so I played it on that. Props to the developers for putting it on Game Pass. I have really, really enjoyed the game. Side note, I believe they are working on DLC already. The game has been such a
Ah,
smashing success for them in such a small amount of time since release. They've already amped up a DLC to continue some phase of it. I'm not sure how, when, or what, but I do know there's a DLC planned. I think it's on most major platforms.
That's huge. That's huge. Yeah, I heard it from Baxter first. There is going to be DLC. No, but
Breaking news. So I have a question too for you, Baxter. So taking all this into account, that this isn't your like, looter shooter, millions of things going on at once. This is a style of game that might not be for everybody, but I think that everybody should give it a try if they can slow down their brain enough and like play this style of game. What would you say the fun factor is like on this game?
Fun factor for me, on a scale or just broad strokes? What
Uh, yeah, like if you were to compare it overall to all games, like how would you rate the fun factor on it?
on initial playthrough, I had a blast. I mean, I would
Yeah,
rank it up there probably around 8.5 to a 9. I mean, it just but you got on like you said, this is not the game for everybody, and
right.
it can be if you really put the effort into it, and it's not
Sure.
your typical thing. But to those folks who grew up with that style of game, it's our love letter as older gamers. This studio
100%.
really and developer really it just brought all the things from all those other games that everybody on a consensus enjoyed, created a wonderful story around, implemented them all, and gave us probably something we didn't know we needed it, but man, do I like it,
Yes.
you know?
Right. So that being said, if you had to give this a GG rating, a good game rating, what would you give it?
Overall, if you want a in sum, I'm gonna say this game is a 9.25
Okay.
Whoa, that's
You know,
pretty
for me.
good
I'm with
For
that.
me, for
I'm
me.
I'm with
for
that.
you. And what do you think would give it that next level to make it a perfect 10, which is so hard to do, like almost impossible, but what would give it peak 10 status?
Peak 10 status, I think I would like maybe a few more skills. There's a lot of skills. That's uh, part of the game is you get to find them on your journey. You know, they may be in a chest, or if you do a side mission for something, you get another skill that you can either for your class, your character, excuse me, or it's one of the joint skills between you and another character on your 3-man team in battle. Uh, maybe one or two more like that. Just a few
Right.
more ways to interact probably would have bumped it up closer.
That's awesome, man. So it sounds like you really love this game. You're the perfect one to talk to. I appreciate you breaking it down so well. You did a great job.
Man, I appreciate you just coming on the show, telling us what you think. I think 9.25 is extremely fair with this kind of game. Like you said, it's a love letter for all of us that played all these RPGs growing up. So I appreciate it, man. If you don't mind, do you want to hang out with us a little bit longer to go over this bonus news?
You know, I'd love to. I think I have got to run,
All
help
right.
get my other child down to sleep, but it has been a blast, and hopefully your listeners will get getting something out of this and
Yeah.
play this game. You won't regret it. Spend the time and do the due diligence. Don't skip. Like really, let it take over for a little while, and you will on the other end of the journey. You will be like, "I'm glad I spent this." And you can. I think I have about between 40 and 42 hours, somewhere give or take, right in there at this
Nice.
point.
That's
Nice.
awesome, dude.
Man, either way, I'm telling you that I'm gonna have to check all that out and definitely hear those tips. And man, I just appreciate you coming on the show and just sharing your thoughts and everything else. Okay, so with that
Thank you,
being said,
Baxter.
we're gonna let you get out of here, tend to the kids. We know how that is, and we'll catch you the next time on the show, man. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
All right, man. It was great. Yeah, it was great having him on, man. He had a
It
lot
was
of
great
stuff.
having him on.
But with that
It
being
was really
said,
good.
you want to bring in the next section? Bring it on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, baby. Bringing in the next section, we're going to talk about some extra news. I want you to listen to this music right here in the background and tell me if you recognize this. What is this? Oh,
That
it's
time.
kind of
It's
epic.
that time. It's back.
It's that
Back.
time, baby.
Wait.
Guess what, baby? Titanfall 2 is making a comeback. Let's go.
Yeah.
Titanfall 2
Give me
is making a
hype. Give me
comeback.
hype.
They have fixed the servers. You can play now. It doesn't take an hour to get in a game. You can play. Huge. And it plays perfect on the Steam Deck. Flawless. Looks great. Sounds great. Plays great. Get in a game instantly. I've been playing on my mobile hotspot at work. Oh my gosh.
Guys,
Let
you
me
just
tell
don't
you, man.
understand. Gray had me one night for like 3 hours just trying to get into like one match. That's how dedicated we are with this. And
Bro, please play
Huge.
some with me tonight. Please
we need
play
to.
just a little
We
bit.
need to play a little bit. For sure. I'm
Just
with
a
you, bro.
little.
I got you, bro.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Because, man, let me tell you, the reason why I even bought an Xbox One in the first place was because of the original Titanfall.
Oh, that's right.
It was so groundbreaking to me. I love mechs. Like, I love Gundam Wing. I love, you know, all those mech style
Anime.
games. You know, you look at your classic animes, there's so many mech games. There's so many, or like mech. I can't even talk. I'm so excited. So many mech anime and things to do with mech.
Hey, hold up.
Anything to do with mech.
Do you like all my tags? I keep tagging you in with all the updates on Titanfall 2. Because I
What are
know
you
how
talking
much
about?
all
Where
the
at?
tags on Facebook
Oh,
about all
yeah,
the
yeah, tags on Facebook. Yeah, I was like, dude, I can't believe this is making a comeback, because you know there was going to be a Titanfall 3 is what they were saying, and instead they focused their time and energy on Apex. And
Yep.
you
With
know,
they're supposedly making a Titanfall 3. You saw that tag, right? That I sent to you. So they're supposed to be
yeah,
coming back
well,
with
we'll
Titanfall
see.
3. But
We'll see. I really hope
You
so,
sound
but I
burned.
hope they stay. Well, listen, the direction they took things with Apex, making it more cartoony, more, I don't know.
yeah,
I like the gritty, grounded world of Titanfall 2. Not to throw any shade at Apex. Like, I think that's great for folks that
that's
love
my
it.
game. That's my game.
That is your game, and you know it's great. But Titanfall 2 is more of your gritty war, you know, mix and pilots. Like the pilots are experimented on and like rebuilt, and you know, like they just look like they're thrown together and like hardened over time in war.
Yeah,
So when you level up as a pilot in Titanfall, you can hear them doing things on you, and they like reset your mind. So
yeah.
I believe the pilots are like modified so that they can
Great.
handle the force of being in this mech and piloting it.
Great. Can you imagine this game in your VR, like VR style?
Oh my
Like
gosh, it'd be amazing.
that
Be
would be
amazing.
pretty cool.
I play a game where you're in a mech in VR, and it is really cool. Like it's basically as close as you can get as Titanfall VR. Um,
That would be
I
pretty
forget
cool.
the name of it now. What is the name of it? I tried to get
No.
y'all to
Yeah,
buy
you
it,
tried.
but you weren't having it.
Well, I'll
What
play
is the name
Titanfall
of
2
it,
with you
dude?
to make it easier. I
What
can't
is
remember
it?
the
What is
name of it.
it?
You're gonna remember
Help
it
me.
after the podcast.
Oh, it's called Vox Machinae.
Okay.
Vox Machinae. It's really fun. There's a small player base on there. There's also a story mode, and it even plays well on the Steam Deck. You don't have to play it in VR, but it is a really fun VR game regardless. So yeah, that was the main news.
Titanfall 2.
2
Server's back
is back.
online. Get it. Let's get it. Let's go have a little
I
fun.
tried to play Titanfall 1 on Steam Deck just to see if it would work, and there isn't anyone on. I don't even know if the servers are active or what, but I
Yeah.
really wish Titanfall 1 would be playable
that's
too.
my
It's a
favorite.
slower version of Titanfall. Like it's a lot slower, a lot to me grittier. There's something really fun about it. I like the mech combat better actually in Titanfall 1. Titanfall 2 is still great, but the
Yeah,
mech combat in Titanfall 1 was something special.
I agree.
Uh,
I agree.
So, man, that was the
Well,
bonus news.
guys,
We're excited.
I'm super excited about it. I'm excited to play that with you, and I'm glad. Thanks for hanging out with us today, guys, and hearing all this awesome news. Nintendo Direct, State of Play. We got Baxter on here telling us about the Sea of Stars, about how this is just a love letter game with a 9.25 GG rating. Huge. We appreciate him coming on the show. Greg, do you want to tell them how they can reach out to us and let's end this thing?
It's a great rating, probably one of the best ratings ever. It's huge. It's really huge.
Huge.
You can reach us at GGrated channel or GGrated channel at gmail.com. Reach out to us, drop us a line, give us some constructive criticism, or you can just be nice. That would be great because we need more nice things over the internet. Yeah. So reach out to us. Tell us your favorite gaming moment. All that.
Yep. We're out on a GGrated podcast that you listen to. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, and Amazon Podcasts as well. Guys.
And your mom's house.
And your mom's.
What?
Guys, we appreciate you stopping by. Y'all have a good one. And we'll see you later.
That's what she said.
Peace.